Hi guys, Draconosire here, and today I'm going to show you how to do the very basic things of Visual Basic. I'll explain stuff like Hungarian notation, camel case, and other similar things that you probably won't understand until you've watched the video. I'll explain, if you care to watch for that long, exactly how it is that the basic code that I'll be demonstrating in this video works, and we'll be doing this with our example Hello World. That's the name of the program, which is kind of a universal first program you make. Okay, now, we're going to assume you have Visual Basic installed. If not, there's a link to the free Express version in the description. So naturally you want to go New. Your whole Visual Basic will actually probably look quite different unless you have Visual Studio. But you want to have Windows Forms application selected under the Visual Basic thing. And we'll call it... Oh, god damn it. That didn't work very well. We'll just try that again, shall we? And we'll call it Hello World. Important to do that, or you'll get really confused when you have 15 folders called Windows Application. And you'll get presented with this form, to which you will, throughout the use of the production of your program, add these controls. These are all controls. And over here we have, obviously, your properties box, and some other stuff which isn't really important right now. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to use our Hungarian notation to name the form, FRM Hello World. So this first bit here, this I want FRM, that bit is the Hungarian notation. It's the prefix to the name of objects, which denotes the kind of object it is. This bit in camel case, wherever the first letter of every word is capitalized, making it all camel-y, is where you put the name. And down here, we're just going to call this Hello World. Okie dokie. And we want some buttons. There's 2 buttons should do. One of these will make the program do stuff, and the other one will close it. Okay. Just make it small. No need to be flamboyant. Want those buttons, then we want some labels, which you can drag from there also, for a bit of extra convenience if you feel so inclined. Okie dokie. Okay, so we select these buttons, and we want to give them a different format, and make the font, the text in there, bigger and say different things. So what we do is we go to font, and we can choose a different font. Let's say Trebuchet, and make it bold, 18. Yep, okay. Do the same thing for these labels. Choose a different font though. Let's go with Segoe Print, bold oblique, 14. Whether it says oblique or italic will depend on the version of Windows you have installed, I suppose. Okay, now that we have all the objects we want, no, that's not yet. We want to do the same naming thing we did with the form. So we'll call this top one LBL heading, and give it the text of my first Visual Basic two P's, application. Okie doke. Okay. And this one we will call, we'll set that to say Hello World, and we'll call it, try that again, LBL Hello. It's very important to set these these names correctly because that's what they're referred to as in the coding. And if you just leave it as button 1 and button 2, you'll get very, very confused, believe me. And this one will be quit. I'll put a link to a list of Hungarian notation in the description if I can find one. Okay, so now that we've done all that and we have everything set up how we want it, we want to set the property on this to the visible property if you have trouble finding anything. If it's in this view and you've got all these different sections, it's easier to just set it to alphabetic and then you can look for the property you're after and it'll be alphabetized. So that you want visible on that to be false. Don't worry that it doesn't become invisible on your form because it would just be stupid if it did. You can't design a program if you can't see half the elements. Yeah, it'll be invisible when you debug. Okay, so now let's do some coding, shall we? On our button begin, click. So that's button begin, click. When you click on the button begin, we want to make the LBL hello. You can choose them out of this Dropbox by pressing tab. Dot visible, also pressing tab, equals true. That'll make it appear. And on the button quit, we want some code that will close the form. You can use two different things here. You can either do end, which is a global thing that stops execution immediately. It closes the entire program. Or you can do I don't even know what that symbol is. me.close, which will close only the form that the code is on, the me bit referring to the current form. So only use this if you only want to close that form, or if you have a single form and you get some kind of network error, which I have experienced before. Okay, so now what happens is it's a very simple thing. You press begin, it says hello world, you press quit, and it goes away. Okay, so if that's all you're interested in doing, you may as well leave now, I suppose. But for further explanation of how basic code works, well, we shall proceed, I guess. Okay, this kind of code is this bit of the code here refers to an object. That's the hello label here. It's referring to LBL hello. Then the bit after the dot, this section, is referring to a property of that object. So you put the dot, and then you put the property you want to manipulate, and then obviously the value, or in some cases you don't need one. So you could also, if we want to do something else as demonstration, you could put LBL heading dot forecolor, which is the color of the text, dot color, no, not dot, equals dot, yep, teal will do, I suppose, dot teal. So see, if we have a look at the properties of this, we can go up here to forecolor, which right now is set to control text, or black, and that's what the property we're manipulating. We're saying forecolor, the forecolor property is now equal to teal. You just have to have this colored dot bit to give it reference or something, I suppose. I don't know, it just needs to be there. So now when we debug, we press begin, that will change to teal. And you could do this for almost any property. You could do it for the buttons even. I could change this, so what do we want? let's change it. Change the flat style. So let's go btn quit dot flat style equals pop up. Not Edna. Yeah. So now when we click the button, it'll change the appearance of the button to be the pop-up style, as you can see here. I think that's about it. You manipulate the basics of objects by, oh yes, events. On an event, you do the code we demonstrated here. Events being this object dot, it's only an event when it's up here, dot clicks. So you can choose different events, like if you choose one of the objects, like L wheel heading, for example, then we choose an event. We could say mouse hover. Then we could put me as referring to the current form dot back color is equal to, what's a good color? Let's go with dark khaki, shall we? So now when you hover the mouse over the heading label, it will turn the background to khaki. There we go. Khaki. And then you press begin and that becomes teal and that changes. And you could do various other things like change the size of a button or the font of a label, make the form a different size. Nearly any property that's listed here. And if you want to get a good example of the kind of things you can change, you just put me dot, and then it'll give you a big list of things you can do. These blue ones are other objects, which will only come up if you have a form listed there. The pink ones are actions, events. Yeah. And, well, these are the ones you're really after, these ones with the little hand. Dock. Just, you know, ones with the hand are generally things you can manipulate with. And then you just, obviously, if we just choose one, like auto size, and then you press equals or whatever, it'll often give you a prompt of what you can do. See this little box that comes up, tells you what it does. Just set that to true. Then I don't know what that'll actually change. Probably nothing. Yeah, nothing. Oop. So yeah, I think that's about it.